We made it. We made it. Here we are. It seems like we started yesterday.
Ooh, I like that we start singing now as soon as we get on. Hello, everybody. Answers by guess. Episode 27, guys. That's what we're up to. Episode 27. Holy moly, it's been fun ride. It
Yeah.
has been a fun ride. Hold on, I
Yeah.
gotta fix this crap in the back.
Is 27 counting the preseason show and the draft special, or no? Are those precursors, prelude to a season?
Those are prelude. This is from week 1.
Gotcha.
Yes,
The math adds up.
it does. It does make more sense.
Yeah. We'll do a quick recap since we don't have many questions. I mean,
Sure.
Arizona, Chicago. We got Connor Murray back. We saw a little bit of D-Hop. Connor's keeping it going. Chase Edmonds supposedly might be coming back this week. Philly and the Jets. We knew Minshew would have a good game. I called Miles Sanders. It was kind of obvious. And Goddard, thank you for showing up with 6 for 105 and 2 touchdowns when all we needed from you was 1.5. Not even 1.5. We needed 1.1 the week before, because what did the Answers by Guess team do in the Answers by Guess League? We put up the highest point total of the season last year when we had our full team back that we've been missing all season long. But it doesn't matter because we're eliminated because we suck, because the fantasy gods hate us. The Jets, Corey Davis out for the year. Elijah Moore, if he's out there, you got to grab him. Colts, Texans. Yeah, I mean, we saw that one coming. Chargers, Bengals. I don't know if we saw that one coming. Chargers put the whooping on them. Bengals came back. Chargers put the whooping on them.
You see his finger? Your finger's not supposed to go to the side like that.
Nope. But he's going to play. So no Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen COVID protocol. So we'll see if it's Guyton or Palmer stepping up this week. Tampa Bay. Such a funneled team. It's either Fournette, Godwin, Evans, or Gronk. And nobody else on that team. Antonio Brown cut him. Probably not coming back. Falcons. You know what? I said Matt Ryan would have a good game. He had a good game. 300 passing yards, no interceptions. They got in the red zone twice. Didn't do anything with him of note necessarily. One rushing touchdown and a field goal. And then they had the defensive touchdown as well. So Matt Ryan had a good game, which is what we called. Wasn't good fantasy-wise, but was good NFL. Giants, Dolphins. Tua continues his streak. Let's see here. The Lions. We kind of felt like the Lions could win that one. Said Jared Goff would have a good game, and that he did. Rams. I thought they'd win by 50. They won by 30. I think that counts as a win. Washington, the Raiders. Thought it would be a little more high scoring. Gibson still had a pretty good game. Logan Thomas. Now it's not a torn ACL, so we'll see. And Ricky Seals-Jones hurt, so I believe they have a rookie tight end. Not quite sure of his name. Let me
Bates.
Bates, yeah. And there he was. He had 3 catches after Logan Thomas went out. So Bates might be a tight end streamer this week if you need him. In the most important week in the season for most of us thus far. Baltimore, stupid. Why do you go for 2 at the end? You got your offense is rolling. You got the best kicker in the game. All you got to do is get to overtime, play decent enough defense, get the ball first. Your offense is rolling. Very dumb. When you're that close in that division where it's 4 teams fighting neck and neck and you're against the division rival, you go for 2. I understand the idea, but that's the this season in a microcosm that I've been pissed off about all year if you've been watching the shows. Why? Why do you do stupid stuff? Just like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Kick the field goal when you're down 3 and it's 4th and 1. I don't care what the analytics say. Tie the game. Live another day. San Francisco and Seattle. Seattle wins this one. Interesting. Elijah Mitchell, concussion. We'll see how that goes. DK didn't have 5 targets right away, but he did have, I think, the first target of the game. And then it went a little while. He was okay, but, who knows? Collins is coming back. Rashad Penny looked pretty good, though.
He did, man.
Let's see how long that lasts. Casey and the Broncos went exactly how I thought it would go. I don't know what happened to Cortland Sutton. I mean, he's damn near droppable at this point, but as soon as you do, what's going to happen. And then last night's game. Last night's game I thought was a great game. What a great game plan. And for McDermott to come out and just be like, oh, yeah, I don't think Belichick's that good. It's like, really? Like, he took it back to 1942 and said, we will be Navy and just run and never pass, and you won't be able to stop us. And, like, that goes along with what I said before about the microcosm. It's like all these teams across the league want to try and reinvent the wheel. Every week they're throwing a new wrinkle. They're doing this. They're doing that. And Bill Belichick said, you know what? The weather's terrible. It's a tough defense. Our defense is really good. We think we can play good. We're just going to run the entire game. We get 4 yards, we're going to run again. We get 4 yards, we're going to run again. We get 6 yards, we're going to run again. We get 2 yards, we're going to run again. 2 yards, run again. 2 yards, run again. Punt. Play defense. Old school football. Nobody does that. Bill Belichick says that's the way we're going to win this game. Now, they got a little lucky. Dawson Knox could have had a touchdown. Diggs should have had a touchdown. Both right off fingertips.
Gabe Davis, too. He just, not that he overthrew him. He knew he had to throw it hard, and Gabe Davis just couldn't get there.
The missed field goal. I mean, you blame that on the wind because then they could have kicked a field goal at the end and took the lead. So they got a little help. They got a little lucky. But when all said and done, he had the game plan, the exact game plan that you needed. And just proving that, like, you don't have to do all types of wacky stuff. You don't have to go for it. Go for 2 when you're down 1 to force overtime. You don't have to go for it when it's 4th and 2 and you're down 2 points or 3 points or 4 points. Kick a field goal. Plenty of time. So, thank you. Thank you, Bill Belichick, for, giving me some hope that all these NFL coaches are morons. At least one is not.
What I love to see, and I'm a Patriot hater. I'm not a big fan of it. You're 100. The fact that they were just able to move the ball every single day, they kept on getting that push. It's like, all right, they know exactly what's coming. They don't know which side it's going to, but they were getting it right. 6 yards, 8 yards. Damian Harris should have had 2 touchdowns if his hamstring didn't tighten up on him again. Yeah, I mean, it was crazy seeing Stevenson waiting for that hole and knowing that the hole is going to eventually get there. Like, it was very patient. Both backs looked like Le'Veon Bell in his prime when they were waiting for the holes to open. And that's what I think was just so crazy about yesterday. I mean, that wind, I think we posted on the page. I mean, seeing the way it was swirling, seeing the goalpost going like this. It was
I know you were watching intently. It was Folk's one kick that looked like it was like, whoop, right through.
I was like, yeah. It was so funny is that I text back and forth with Nick, and I'm just like, they had gotten the ball back with like 6 minutes left. I had Folk. I was going against Allen and Beasley. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to even watch anymore. I just can't. My anxiety was through the roof the entire way.
Well, get used to it because this week's going to be
even worse.
And each one after. This is the best time. And you know what? I'm excited for it. I'm happy about it. But I think I looked. Every single one of my teams is in 7th or 8th. But if I win this week, in some of the leagues, I'm in. And if I win and get a little help, I'm in. So I can make the playoffs as a 7 or 8 seed right now as a 6 seed with just a little help.
What's crazy is that I'm in a league that I think it's a
accept answers, league. I guess. Go ahead.
I think 3 through 9 are still all eligible for playoff spots right now.
Crazy. 10 teams.
Yeah, in 10 teams, 3 through 9.
Crazy.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. I just love it. But that's the way that you're right. The microcosm of this year has just been just the craziness of everything that's been going on. It just seems like, how do we make this year normal in a way? Can I ask for a normal week 14? But do I even want a normal week 14?
Yeah. No. I mean, yes, but no.
A little bit of both.
It's not going to happen. It's the thing. So don't set yourself up for disappointment.
I got to think about a tight end. I have Hunter Henry and Gesicki, and I need a tight end.
Bates.
I was picking up Ricky Seals-Jones because there's a possibility of him coming back this week, supposedly. But do I take that chance? You're right. Do I put in a thing for Bates? I got to take a look who's still out there. And Njoku might be somebody else I'm thinking about.
Komet might be out there against Green Bay Sunday night.
So I got to really figure it out. And I'm going up against 3 Monday nighters in this league too. So
that's an Arizona game.
Yeah, Arizona and Rams. So there's a lot of players going Monday night in a lot of leagues. So it's going to be very interesting. Guys, bye week. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I was thinking about on Sunday's show, you had mentioned the week 14 bye, but I'm thinking about that's not that odd. It's only odd because it's week 14, but week 14 is really week 13 because there's an extra week this year. So the week 14 buys, it's just like week 13 buys last year. There were week 13 buys last year.
There were?
Yeah, I feel like I want to say the Panthers were last year. The Bucks were 13, I believe, last year. There were week 13 buys last year. To the best of my knowledge. Prove me wrong.
I'm looking to see. Oh, you're right. Yeah, Buccaneers and Damn, dude. Buccaneers and Panthers.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you know what? I just felt like maybe just because it was week 14, I'm like, there's buys week 14? Yeah, but you're right. The extra week is kind of throwing me off from that perspective. But there's not 4 teams. There was only 2 teams last year. So those 2 extra teams make a big difference, especially that Indy's a good team. You got a bunch of players there. Philly's a bunch of players there. Miami, New England. I mean, good defenses all around. Yep. I mean, this is going to be a good filler in week. So, again, talking about buys, Indy, Philly, New England, and Miami. Talk about some waivers, man. Let's talk about who should we be focusing in maybe different positions, maybe starting with running backs.
Well, I think Rashad Penny, who we talked about. I mean, I know Alex Collins is coming back, but Rashad Penny, I would say, looked really good, and if he can keep this going, I believe they have a pretty good matchup. I want to say they're playing Houston. So, I mean, Rashad Penny's someone this week who, if they continue to give him the ball and he gets going a little more, Houston's definitely a team that he could break out against because he's got the skills to pay those bills. And Tevin Coleman, surprisingly enough, has looked really good. And I'm sure that he's sitting out there somewhere.
They're playing New Orleans, too, which just they haven't looked good, obviously. I mean, they play Dallas. Their defense is better, obviously, than their offense. But with Taysom hurt, I mean, he seems like he's going to play. But with him hurt, I mean, how does that change things if the defense is on the field a lot? Tevin could be a good call.
Yeah, and he's going to catch passes. And he looked really shifty last week. He looked spry.
I started him in a league.
Like a wide receiver keeps popping in my head. KJ Osborne's got to be with Thielen out. He's got to be somebody that you're going out there to try and get. I mean, as soon as Thielen went out, I mean, Justin Jefferson murdered my soul in the most important league, but he helped me out in another league. He killed it, but KJ Osborne is shadowed by that huge performance. He had a really nice game. So I think he's somebody that if you're a Thielen owner, you should be going out and doing whatever you have to do to get KJ Osborne because that's just a perfect plug and play. Right? You lose Thielen, you grab KJ Osborne.
I mean, Conklin's probably going to get a uptick as well to a certain degree, but again, I agree. KJ Osborne should get the majority of those targets. Conklin's still going to have what his role is. I can see maybe a couple more targets, but Osborne should be the one.
Yeah, and I think right now what's important, let's not focus on what you need. But here's some advice for anybody that's watching. I don't know how many viewers we have right now. 5 times. A good piece of advice, if you are in a win and I'm in situation, or win and get a little help situation, or you're in and you don't want somebody else maybe to get in, you got to play defense. And this is it. So even if you don't need someone, but you are in a position to grab that someone, grab them. Like if you're looking in a team you need to lose needs a wide receiver, but you're stacked a wide receiver and there's KJ Osborne sitting out there and you got somebody on your bench you could drop, I'm picking up KJ Osborne. I'm not letting this team get him. I need that team to lose. I'm playing defense because this is it. You don't win, that person doesn't lose, you're done. So you gotta put it all out there. You see, there's a team who has the Patriots defense, and there's only one good defense out there on the waiver wire. They don't have anybody on their bench. You got a good defense, doesn't matter. You go grab that other defense, so that way they don't. Like that's what this is it. And that's how I play. That's how I've already started prepping. I started prepping for that last week on Saturday. I was like, okay, so these are the teams I'm worried about. This is what they got going on week 14. Yeah. This is what they got going on. I'm going to make sure that they don't get this. And you have to do that type of stuff. Because if you just let somebody grab someone because you don't need them, they're going to get them. And guess what? If they win and you win and you're out, and you could have prevented them winning, even if you're not playing against them, there's no rules right now. The rule is you got to win. That's it. So focus on your team and your needs. But look at the teams who you're jousting with for this week. Who might they grab? And if you can grab them before they do, even if you drop them Saturday morning or Sunday morning, it's like they don't clear waivers.
There's a big FU.
It doesn't matter.
No, you're right.
You have
cutthroat, man.
You played all season, and you're on the edge, and you need to win, and you need this team or that team to lose. You got to do what you got to do. I mean, there's no rule that says you can't pick up a guy if you're not going to play him. People have been picking up guys and not playing them all season long since the beginning of time.
Story of my life.
So, I mean, that's my one piece of advice. If you haven't thought that way for this week, for tonight, for waivers, like you might just be sitting like, my team's good. I know I got a couple bums on my bench, but I don't need to pick anybody up. Yeah, you do. If you're fighting right now to get in or hold your spot, and there's somebody hot on your heels or right in front of you, grab who you think that they need. What does their roster look like right now? Where are their bye weeks and injuries on the bench? Oh, somebody might be able to grab Rashad Penny, but you have the 5 best running backs in football history. I don't care. You grab Rashad Penny. You're not getting him versus the Texans. I don't care if he gets 3 carries for 10 yards. I'm grabbing him because there's a chance he could get 15 carries for 100 yards. And I'm not letting you get those points. You can go ahead and trot Chris Evans out there or Larry Roundtree in this week that mean nothing.
I like the tutelage there. I gave away all my secrets a few seconds ago about what tight ends I'm looking for. So I'm going to be battling you. No, I'm just busting chops.
No. Because you know why? Because you, and most importantly, your head. I needed you to win last week. I needed you to knock that team out that you beat. That Josh Allen almost touchdown at the end.
My heart was racing.
I think it was to Knox. Mm-hmm. I was like I would have liked to have that, but I'm glad you didn't have it.
Remember, I told you anybody but Beasley if he's going to throw a touchdown.
Yeah. Well, was it Beasley in the last one? It was Knox, right?
It was Knox, yeah.
Yeah. But I was like, yes, Rob won. I needed Rob to win because the other guy was right ahead of me or right behind me, but he would have jumped ahead of me with a win and it would have knocked me out. But now I'm sitting at 7th. All I got to do is win this week. And I need one team to lose in front of me. and I'll get in. So you're not one of them. I'm not looking at you. Yeah, I need you to win, whoever you're playing, because who are you playing, Mike?
Mike, yeah.
I need you to win. That's right. So you better win.
I want to keep that second place, so that
Yeah.
I want the bye week, so that I am going to go for the win, man.
Yeah, good. Win. So I'll win. I'll see you in the playoffs.
See you in the playoffs. It's funny. I was wearing my my Fantasize Me T-shirt that I got yesterday, and I'm sitting there. I'm watching Monday Night Football, and I'm looking at the shirt, like, please don't knock me out. Come on, I need another shirt. I need another shirt.
Nice.
Another person that I was thinking about from a wide receiver standpoint, you had mentioned him on Sunday. Got another 5 targets, 4 receptions, 62 yards. Laquan Treadwell.
Yeah.
He is somebody that even that Trevor Lawrence looked horrible and he doesn't know how to throw a football correctly. He still got 4 receptions for 62 yards. I mean, that's 3 games in a row now with, I think, at least 4 receptions and over 40-something yards.
Yeah, he's looking his way.
He's looking his way. I mean, I really liked what I'm seeing there. And now they're going against, what's it called, too? The Titans, who have one of the worst secondaries in the league. Titans coming off a bye week. They're getting a little healthier with getting Julio probably back this week. That's somebody else to look at. Julio might be sitting out there. You don't know. That could be a potential there as well for someone to look at. But Treadwell is somebody that I would say trending up right now. If you need a wide receiver 3 or a flex option, you could have worse.
And then a super deep blast from the past. D.D. Westbrook. I talked about him in the beginning of the season. He's finally coming around to getting playing time. KJ Osborne went on the outside for Thielen. D.D. Westbrook went in the slot for KJ Osborne almost immediately. So it looks like he's going to be their slot wide receiver. I don't think you pick him up and play him, but he's a name to keep out there because Thielen's going to be out for multiple weeks, if not the entire rest of the season, depending on how the Vikings fare. Because if they get eliminated, I don't think they bring him back.
Correct. I agree. Last person that's on my mind is somebody, again, that was the guesstimator a couple weeks ago. MVS may be sitting out there as well. Sunday night matchup. That gives you a Sunday nighter. Going against Chicago's defense, which isn't that great. They're going to be keying in on Adams. MVS may be a good go-to in that game as well.
And Aaron Rodgers owns them.
He does. He said it. He said it to the camera. And I love how Brady, even though I hate Tom Brady, he's like, I didn't know he was a partial owner.
Great. Brady's a funny dude, man.
He is, man. I'm not going to say anything out loud. I go to my grave. I hate that man.
But he's funny. He's funny.
Tight end perspective, who are you thinking?
I'm telling you, Bates just keeps popping up to me. I mean, rookie tight end surfaces. He's a rookie, right? Late in the season.
Yeah.
Because of an injury, and immediately catches some balls. Great athleticism. I mean, Ricky Seals-Jones had his splash, and I told everybody, I'm not buying into it. He died off, and then he got injured. There's no reason for them to trot Ricky Seals-Jones out there when Bates has shown that he is more than capable last week, most recently. And I see no reason for them not to see what they have in him. Because Logan Thomas, another injury, he's 30 years old, reformed quarterback. They're in future mode right now. Fitzpatrick's not coming back. Bates could be their tight end of the future.
Somebody else that I was thinking about, Parham, might be somebody of interest. They're going against the Giants. Giants defense.
With no Keenan Allen.
With no Keenan Allen. He did have 4 targets last week, even though he really didn't do very much with them. But I want to say 2 of them were red zone targets, if I'm not mistaken. So that's something that I was looking at, again, knowing that I needed tight end help this week. So I was kind of scoping out the field as to who could possibly be out there. I got one more if you don't have any other ones.
Well, I was just going to say, my problem with Parham has been what it's been all season. I mean, I loved him in the preseason, told you all about him. He's a freaking monster. Jared Cook is the problem. Jared Cook is still there. Jared Cook's still playing snaps. Jared Cook's still catching balls. It's an issue. And if you're going to stream Big Don, then you got to hope that he gets a touchdown.
And that's what it is. It's a very high risk, high reward type situation. Somebody else that I was on my mind that I feel like could have some potential going up against Detroit is Albert O. With Sutton's disappearance, pretty much, it seems like the tight ends are getting some decent amount of targets over there. Again, not getting a lot, but going against the Detroit Lions team that, even though they're coming off a win, they're flying high. I can see some points being scored in that game. Denver's going to need a pick-me-up, especially if Gordon's out again. I think Albert O could be somebody of interest, at least in my opinion.
If this game was in Detroit, I think Detroit wins 2 in a row. But because it's at Mile High, it's going to be tough. But I do think that's a competitive game. I saw somebody ask a question about defensive streamers. We'll get to it in a few minutes. There's tons of defenses that are on the waiver wire this week. They have great matchups. There are tons of them, like 8 that I can just honestly.
No, you're right.
A quarter of the league, and most of them are in waiver wires, and the Broncos are one of them. And the Broncos, to many people, look like the best one. But I wouldn't be surprised if the offense keeps going for Detroit a little bit here. I think Josh Reynolds is really helped this offense. I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown has looked better. Khalif Raymond's looked a little better. Hawkinson's got a little bit of heat off of him because there's other pass catchers. Jamal Williams looked good in the lead back role. They played Igwebikwe a little bit. So I feel, if it was in Detroit, I think Detroit wins this game. But it's in Mile High, so they're a fine streamer, Denver, and they're probably number 1 on most people's streamer list this week because they see Detroit. But there's a couple other ones that I think are pretty valuable that we'll get to when we get to that question.
I got a couple in mind as well. All right, let's jump into the questions. All right, Spencer has a 4-parter. We'll start with this part. I have a pretty rough situation. Logan Thomas is injured and Gesicki is out of bye. My pickup options are Jared Cook and Conklin. Conklin would be my obvious choice unless you have a sleeper. The question is, do I drop Thomas for Conklin straight up or wait to put him in IR?
It's tough. If they confirm the torn ACL, I think you just drop him because it's not a dynasty league, more than likely. But then they said it's not confirmed earlier today, which means he could be back in a couple weeks. But are you even going to be playing in a couple weeks? That's the other thing. The thought that we had, the advice that we had is, can I drop this guy? Well, who are you picking up? A little bit of that goes out the window now. Because if you are not picking somebody up because you're like, I don't want to drop this guy because what if he comes back and has a good week? Well, what if you don't get to play another good week? What if you don't get to play anymore? It's all or nothing for the majority of us. There's very few, this season especially, that have locked something up. I mean, look at your standings. I guarantee there's 1 or 2 guys max at the top, and then everybody else is a jumbled mess. So it's like, I mean, me personally, I have Cortland Sutton, and I'm like, push comes to shove, I'm dropping him if I need to pick somebody up. I could use him. I love him. He's being underutilized. But if I don't win now or help somebody else win now, like grabbing a player who I need to lose so the team would use, I'm not even going to be playing next week. So what the hell do I care? So, that rule of thumb kind of goes out the window a little. So you need a tight end. Thomas is not playing this week. If Conklin's your guy, you pick up Conklin. I mean, Rob mentioned a few tight ends that he likes. I mentioned a few I like. Conklin was one of the ones that Rob brought up, and he's been involved. So he's probably the safest. Yeah, drop Thomas. Pick him up. because next week you got Gesicki if you survive. So what the hell does it matter? You're not using Thomas next week. I don't think he plays next week.
Yeah,
Especially,
it would have to be Kaseki, yeah. And I think
especially if
Kaseki has a
Bates
good
does
matchup.
well. Especially if Bates does well. And if Ricky Seals comes back and steals a few snaps. I mean, they're not going to rush Thomas back because if they get into this playoffs and it's not a confirmed torn ACL, then they're going to want him for the playoffs. So they're not going to rush him back when they have serviceable options. Drop him, pick up Conklin, survive.
All right, now it leads to part 2 of the question. Also, I have Ridley in IR for a while. Should I drop his ass? So I have 2 IR spots open for Thielen and Thomas/Swift. Before you answer, Swift is involved in the next part of the question. So I'm also interested in Osborne, but I have to make some drops tonight before waivers hit, so I have some tough decisions. Do I drop P. Ryan and Tim Patrick? One drop will be to get Swift out of IR, and one drop will be for Osborne, unless I'm not dropping Thomas for Conklin, which case I won't be able to grab Osborne.
I would drop Thomas for Conklin. I would drop Patrick for Osborne.
And it was P. Ryan he would drop then to take Swift off of IR. Ridley would be the person that he's dropping from IR to be able to kind of finagle and make that work.
All right, Spencer, this is what you're going to do. You're going to drop Logan Thomas. You're going to pick up Conklin. You're going to drop
everything.
You're going to drop Logan Thomas. You're going to pick up Conklin. You're going to drop Patrick. You're going to pick up Osborne. You're going to drop P. Ryan so that you can take Swift off IR. Then, if Swift is out again, which he probably will be, you're going to put him back on IR, and you're going to pick up P. Ryan once he clears waivers. Because nobody else is going to pick him up, unless it's the Joe Mixon owner. But you have to do it before this week goes off. Because if Joe Mixon goes down, P. Ryan is a top 12 running back. So you put him out there for now, and then you pick him up on Thursday or Friday, whenever waivers clear for him. And you put him back on your team, and at that point, hopefully Swift is back out so you could put him on IR. That's what I would do. Take your chances that the Mixon owner won't grab P. Ryan.
I like it.
Yeah.
It sounds like an excellent plan. All right. So the four-parter is done, but another Spencer question. Who would you roll with? Denver or Saints? Would have to drop Denver to get Saints. Patriots are my starting.
Yeah, I think I would go with Saints. I mean, I have the Saints slightly over Denver this week. I know Denver is Detroit.
Saints play the Jets.
I know, and they're in New York.
Jets have been playing pretty good, man.
Jets have been playing. They have been playing pretty good, but I think their defense is good enough to force the rookie into a few mistakes. The only plus that's here is that Denver's at home and the Saints are on the road. They're really, really close. Like if I had to do scale of 100, how much I like them this week as streamers, nobody's 100, so it would be like 90.2 and like
90.2
89.8. Like they're 0.4 away from each other. They're really close. And it's just because the Saints are on the road. But this is Saints must win. This is a game they could win. It's a rookie quarterback. I feel like they could force him into some mistakes. I think you're going to get more turnovers on the Saints side. But the mile high thin air, it's go with your gut with that one. It's so close. They're my top two in one league because I had the Dolphins. And I'm dropping them. to pick up, and I have those two as my top two. And it's just crazy that this is questioned because 3 times today I've actually switched the waiver order. And the way I have it right now is Saints 1, Denver 2. Saints coming off the loss, I feel like they're just going to be a little more hungry. So, and another waiver guy, sort of, since I'm on the Saints, if he's out there for whatever reason, Callaway, because Deontay Harris has been suspended for 3 weeks for his DWI over the summer. So, I mean, yeah, Taysom Hill's not going to be throwing the ball too much, but Deontay Harris is gone for 3 weeks. So, should be more targets his way. Go with your guy here. I'd go with Saints, but it's so close. Like I said, I flip-flopped 3 different times today on them.
I'm starting Saints, but I don't have an option to start Denver, to be honest with you. I think you're right in it being close. Game script-wise, Saints make sense, but home team is home team. That Mile High is a totally different place to play, man.
Well, I see Denver running and taking the air out of the ball and killing a lot of clock. I feel like the Saints, yes, they're going to be running because that's what Taysom Hill does, but it's a little bit different style. And I don't see the Jets running much. I feel like there'll be more possessions in the Saints game than in the Denver game, which means there's more opportunities for defensive plays, tackles for loss, interceptions, fumbles. That's why I'm going with Saints. I want more opportunities for my defense to make plays. And you can say, well, that's more opportunities to give up points. True. But the Saints are a really good defense, and the Jets have looked good on offense, but they still do make mistakes.
I like it. All right. Let's go on to the next one here. Which Jets player guess? I guess that was from before. You were saying if somebody was out there, you should pick them up. Do you remember who that was? Was it Elijah Moore?
Elijah Moore.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Jeremy, completely eliminated one in my league, but in ABG, I think it's win and I'm in. I play the first place team.
Go get it.
Be scared of that, man. Yeah. Flex on him, bro. Mm-hmm. I'm without Waddle this week. Boyd or Kirk, or should I be looking elsewhere on waivers?
I'd probably, honestly, play Kirk because it's Monday night and they're going against the Rams. Should be a lot of points. I don't even know, but I'm going to look. I'm going to say the over-under is probably 59.5.
That sounds like it would be right.
Wow, way off. 51.5. The
really?
Bucks and Bills are actually higher. Maybe because the Rams and Cardinals both have kind of good defense, but so do the Bucks and the Bills. I see a lot of points Monday night. Rams, Cardinals at home. Rams, Jalen Ramsey's probably mostly be on D-Hop. I like Kirk.
I think so. Yeah.
I'll go with Kirk.
I would go with Kirk over Boyd. If you're looking somewhere else, Osborne might be, but it's a Thursday night, so I don't know if you want to play somebody on Thursday night compared to playing somebody on Monday night. I'm always a fan of playing somebody Monday night.
Yeah, go with Kirk.
All right, kind of relating to what we were talking about before, best tight end replacement with Gesicki on bye. We mentioned a whole bunch before. Do you want to go over again who you think?
Yeah, I mean, Jeremy's been watching the show. He heard them all.
All right, so let's go on to the next one then.
I like Bates. You like Conklin. A couple other guys. Komet might be out there.
Yeah. Alberto, if you really have to go very far. You know, somebody I didn't mention, O'Shaughnessy may be somebody. Again, Jags.
O'Shaughnessy!
So the Jags actually have a very interesting, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Dynamic as far as the ball can really go anywhere. And it seems like those two, Treadwell and O'Shaughnessy, seem to be the most consistent lately.
Yeah, weird. Yeah.
Best streaming Ds this week. You were mentioning before that you had seen the question. Go for it.
Yeah, I'm looking. Okay, this is one league where defenses score pretty high, much like ABG and most of our leagues, Rob, because they should, because they're on the field for 50% of the time, so to speak. But this is who's available. And these teams, probably in most leagues, are pretty widely available. Green Bay, been shut down all year at home Sunday night against Chicago. Perfect streamer. Denver, we talked about, at home against Detroit. New Orleans, on the road against the Jets. The Chargers, great one against the Giants. Jake Fromm, State Farm. Kansas City has been playing really well at home against the Raiders. Raiders have weapons, but Kansas City's been playing real well. Raiders been sort of declining. I know they had a win or two in there. Seattle at Houston. They're probably going back to Davis Webb. Minnesota's not bad on Thursday night at home against Pitt. Roethlisberger looks good when he throws to Deontay. Sometimes he throws to the other team quite often, though. I wouldn't go as far as saying Cleveland, but Carolina at home against Atlanta coming off the bye. That's pretty much it. But that's a ton. That's a ton. And most of these are available in most leagues. Green Bay, Denver, New Orleans, Chargers, Kansas City, Seattle, Minnesota, Carolina. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I said 8. Yeah.
Chargers are high on my list, especially with the Fromm thing. And then also Seattle was my other one that I was going to say as far as playing Houston.
Seattle's a great one. Defense has been playing a little better, but not quite. Their defense has suffered a little because their offense has suffered, but their offense seemed to get a little more in sync last week. I think that easily continues against Houston defense.
Which one's Justin Timberlake? Get it? In sync. All right. I have no choice but to start Coleman. Dude, it's not a bad start, man.
It's not
a bad start at all.
You say, well, you told me to pick up Elijah Moore. You say Tevin Coleman's not that bad, but then you said to play the Saints. Yes, because you want to know what I learned this year? My entire fantasy career. My entire fantasy, sure. I have been afraid, or I don't know about afraid, but against playing offenses and the defense that they're going against. And then this season, and maybe it's because this season's been the stupidest, wackiest season of all in history. But this season, I noticed at least 3 different occasions where, and this past week was one of them, I did not play Taysom Hill because I was forced to play the Cowboys defense. Taysom Hill went off. Cowboys defense went off. It can happen. And it's happened at least 3 times on my own team that I noticed. So your defenses can score points and do well fantasy-wise. And the offensive players that they're playing against can also do so. So that's a complete shift for me because, like I said, my entire time of playing fantasy football, 15 years, this is year 16 plus because I played a couple years before, but those were like, I had no clue what I was doing. I had always I can't play this guy. I'm playing against the defense. It's going to cancel each other out. And then I started to realize this year that, wait a minute. You can have a really good offensive game from a player and a really good defensive game from the defense they're playing against. It's possible. And that's why I still kind of like the Saints. I feel like it's going to be catch-up mode, mostly for the Jets. I think, and they're going to be forced into a few mistakes with the rookie quarterback, who I like quite a bit, Zach Wilson, from day one. So Coleman's not a bad start. Elijah Moore, you got to pick him up, like I said. And the Saints are like my favorite tight end streamer of the week. Although the Packers, if they're available, Sunday night, against the Bears. Andy Dalton, he never does good in primetime games. I mean, he's terrible in primetime games, Andy Dalton.
He's proven that time and time again.
Terrible.
I was going to say something about what you had just said, and I totally
defense playing offensive.
Oh yes. Oh, so Javonte Williams is a good example from this week. Kansas City defense wasn't horrible; they kept them to 9 points, but Javonte Williams had, in my league, 30-something points.
Right.
So I mean that same situation, and I think there was another one. Oh, I'm actually going to have a situation this week. I have Chubb and I have the Ravens defense. I'm thinking about playing both just because Chubb's going to get me my points, but I can see Baker having a ton of mistakes as well and actually losing the ball. So that actually may work in our favor. So again, I've gone with your tutelage on that. I have conversations with Mike all the time saying I can't play this guy because I'm playing the defense and so on and so forth. But you're right. In this wacky world that we live in now in fantasy, it doesn't even matter anymore.
Yeah, I don't think it does anymore. I've noticed it quite a bit.
Yeah. All right, not in a position. I need a tight end and D and 10th priority with no one really to drop. I can drop D and Folk because I have Greg.
I mean, without knowing exactly what you got going on, I mean, you're being 10th in priority. You're probably not getting the top anyways. You might. If you have somebody on your roster who might be out or injured and you have an IR position and you just need it to register, I would probably just wait. Unless, like, the tight end that's out there you really got to have and you think that you could get him. I don't know. Dropping Folk is like, why would you at this point? But if it means surviving, you probably have to.
I'm in a situation right now where I'm going to have to drop a bunch of players, and I'm keeping Folk, where I might drop my current kicker that I have and leave that open and hope that if somebody who I have is questionable ends up being out, I can then now put that guy into my IR spot and go back to pick up a kicker.
I've done that about 8 times this year.
Yeah. It's always like, guess doesn't have a kicker again. It's so funny. I just see you drop them. I'm like, who the hell is he picking up to be able to get that? What player does he need on his bench, and who is he waiting to be out?
I've done it all year across all leagues. I just, whatever, man.
There's enough kickers out there that you're going to find somebody that has a decent matchup and taking a chance on them.
Yeah.
All right. I won by 0.04 this week to stay alive for the last playoff spot. Oh, one more yard on that Diggs reception, and I was done. Damn, that's too close for comfort. We were both in the same place with the anxiety yesterday then.
Crazy.
Jose with another one. Roll with Hill or pick up Heineke?
I'm rolling with Hill. I mean, you picked him up basically for this week. I'm sure your quarterback must be Hurts or Tua. I'm rolling with Hill. I like Heineke, but I'm rolling with Hill.
The funny thing that I heard today is that someone said that Hill is the Tom Brady of Tim Tebow's.
He sure is.
All right, and ABG picking up a D is priority over tight end, right? The points given are more.
Yeah, unless like Kelsey's out there or Kittle, which they're not. But like, you get my point.
Yeah, always go with whatever you can get the most points from him. I've been keeping him, I'm assuming P. Ryan, from my brother-in-law who has Mixon. So that's why he's worried about dropping.
But again, if you're in a win now, if you need to win to get in, it's what you have to do. If there's nothing else you can get rid of, which it sounds like. And getting Osborne for Patrick is a must. And getting Conklin for Thomas for this week is a must. And you'll have 2 Vikings. And that's fine. It'll be Thursday night against Pittsburgh. And it's just what you have to do. because if Pittsburgh's smart, they'll do what they need to do to limit Jefferson. So that gives you the two top beneficiaries on Thursday night. And
I'm gonna have to share my screen. I forgot he sent me pictures of his team. Sorry about that. Hold on one second.
okay.
Because he does have some other guys that actually could. He has Kendrick Bourne, who's on a bye week that could be dropped also.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So here, let me pull it up. Give me 1 sec here. Sorry about that.
Yeah,
I totally
if you're
forgot I had it open.
if you're picking up Osborne, you don't need Bourne or Patrick anymore.
All right, so hold on. Let me take that off.
Yeah, keep P Ryan. He's gold. Keep P Ryan.
Right. So yeah, I would drop Kendrick Bourne.
Yeah, get rid of Bourne. Get rid of Patrick. Pick up Osborne. Drop Thomas. Pick up Conklin.
Yeah, that would probably be who I would be doing. And then you guys have huge rosters here.
Yeah, and you actually you need some running backs from the looks of it.
Yeah, so running back is not so bad. Kendrick Bourne's your option here to drop, bud.
Yeah, drop Bourne. Nobody's picking him up. He's on a bye. Nobody's scooping him. Because I don't know everybody in everybody's league, but 75% of leagues at a minimum are stat watchers. And unless they were watching the game last night, they'll just look and they'll be like, oh, Kendrick Bourne had 0. I'm not going to pick him up. I mean, so it's like if you really want him, you can pick him back up. P. Ryan, your brother-in-law, is going to scoop him.
All right. Those are hundreds.
400s.
I had Denver stashed since 2 weeks ago. Screw it. I'm rolling with them. It's not a bad choice, man.
Yeah.
Not a bad choice. You're going with your gut there. I like it.
I like it too.
He's long gone more. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of figured, but you never know, man. All right. Next one. Is Everett an option or to the TD dependent? Sorry.
He had 4 or 5 catches for 7 yards and 2 fumbles last week.
Sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but it's so right. That's just horrible.
Yeah.
Or as you would say, terrible.
Yeah. I like Everett, and it's a great matchup. They should be able to run all over them and use their top 2 pass catchers. Everett will be involved, but I think there's better options that we mentioned, Jeremy.
All right, Jeremy, you got to go, guys. Wish me luck. Best of luck, brother.
Good luck.
All right, you want to jump into the game?
Should be quick and easy. We pretty much talked about it.
Pretty much there, sir. So Pittsburgh coming off of a win that technically should have went into overtime. Deontay, you're right, is his favorite target. Muth seems to be the other one. Najee's putting up okay numbers, but not Najee numbers that we are expecting. Is he hitting a rookie wall to a certain extent? And should we be concerned? Minnesota feeling out. You mentioned Osborne. We mentioned Conklin. Obviously, Jefferson's a start. What about the running back situation? What are we hearing about Cook? And if Cook doesn't go, is Madison a full start?
Yeah, I don't think Cook's going to play. Not in a short week. They'll give him the short week and then the half bye, and it'll be Madison. But I think the guys we mentioned, I think that Pittsburgh's going to do what they need to do to stop Jefferson. Will they be able to? No, not entirely. And you're not benching Jefferson. But I think Osborne, like I mentioned, and Conklin, like you mentioned, are 2 guys that you should be picking up this week to play because they will be involved. They will be needed. Pittsburgh will be able to move the ball against Minnesota. Najee will be able to run the ball against Minnesota. They're not a very good rush defense. I expect the Pittsburgh to run to set up the pass to Deontay and Muth and occasional Claypool if need be. I think Minnesota will win this game. Minnesota is we beat the Packers, we lose to the Lions, we beat the Steelers. You probably play Houston next week, you lose to them. I don't even know who they play next week, but you get my point. That's kind of how they are. I'm not a Vikings fan, but I've heard a lot of Vikings fans say it's just the life of a Vikings fan. So, I think they win this game.
They
And
have the Bears the following week. Just to give you a heads up.
yeah, I think that they do enough at home to win this one. Kirk Cousins playing really well. TJ Watt's coming back here, right?
He was back already
He
last
was
week.
back last week. Maybe
Yeah.
I heard that last week then. I think he even said that on Saturday. I'm an idiot. But yeah, well, he's back. There's that. But I think the Vikings offense, I don't think that they really skip a beat without Thielen. I think Osborne will line right up and play with him. D.D. Westbrook is who I'm watching because he went into that slot role. Will they utilize him? Does he have anything left in the tank? He was pretty amazing for Jacksonville for a year and a half before he got his bad injury. He was amazing in college. Oklahoma, I believe, is where he played. And he's somebody I'm watching because if I got a big bench and I just want to wait until waivers are over and grab somebody just to stash, he's somebody I'm grabbing just to stash because he's like the old version of Justin Jefferson, kind of. He's big, he's tall, he's a little thicker than Jefferson, lanky-ish, great hands, decent speed, at least before the injury. And I just think if they do utilize him and target him, he's somebody who I think could pop in this game. And if he does, and if you don't play in a league where people completely forget about Thursday games, because that's what happens. Sunday and Monday come and go, waivers come, and people completely forgot about what happened on Thursday. If people don't, and he does good in this game, people are going to grab him. I don't think Thielen's coming back this year. I don't see a reason for them to rush him back unless they solidify like spot 5 or 6 over the next couple of weeks. I think this week will get them there if they do get the win. But if they lose this game, he's definitely not coming back. And D.D. Westbrook, if he does anything, be something to work. But no Cook, and you play your main guys on the Steelers, and you wish for the best. But like Rob said, I mean, if you don't have to play Osborne, even though I love him this week, if you don't have to play him, then you don't. Like if you don't have to play a Thursday guy because you got better option Sunday or Monday, play the Sunday or Monday guy. No need to stretch. I burned myself a couple times this season alone, being like, God, I just want some action. Let me put this Thursday guy in there. And like, oh. And I've also done it the opposite way. It's like, man, I should have played that guy on Thursday. But I get the feeling with this game because it is the Steelers defense who's pretty good. They shut down the Ravens. I thought that game would be much more high scoring. The Vikings are rolling. They're at home. But they are down Thielen. I don't think it hurts them too much. But just in case, I don't think that you put somebody in that you don't necessarily need to use. Like if it was Osborne or Kirk, because I know somebody asked a question about Kirk earlier.
Kirk and Boyd.
I know, but I'm saying because I like Osborne.
Gotcha.
I think I would go. I think the volume is going to go to Osborne, but I could see Kirk getting a touchdown. I think it'd be really close. Monday Night Magic. The only reason I think is because I think Ramsey's going to shadow D-Hop. I'd probably still go Kirk, I think.
I'm a Monday nighter compared to a Thursday nighter, even though it's a decent matchup. Steelers defense played well against Lamar and, like you just mentioned, and kind of shutting those guys down. They're going to focus on Jefferson. Osborne could look good, but I rather play on Monday night and knowing that there's going to be that high of potential, especially if D-Hop's going to be focused on being taken out of the game. So,
yeah.
Minka's going to be on Jefferson. So it's kind of the same situation. It's just whether you like Kyler throwing or Kirk Cousins throwing. I'm going to go with Kyler.
Yeah, me too.
All right. I don't see any other questions. Anything else, guys?
Good luck on waivers. Remember, focus on your team, but in the couple hours now before you go to bed and those waivers clear, make sure you take a peek at those teams you're jostling with. Who do they need? Who might you be able to steal? And you need them to lose as much as you need to win. So just don't be selfish. Don't only think about yourself. Think about others in a negative way.
I'm going to have like 30 waiver claims now.
Great question, Marty. A little bit of a segue type thing.
Oh, I'm sorry. If you're already mentioned this, don't never apologize, man. Ask your questions. That's what we're here for. You like Osborne or Guyton?
I would go Osborne. Because Guyton, you don't know if it's going to be him or Palmer. You don't know if they'll go 2 tight end sets. You don't know if they call up Joe Reed, who's a name that I loved last year. You also don't know if they will even have to throw the ball because they're playing against the Giants and Jake Fromm. If Jake Fromm comes out and has an amazing game, then they're going to have to throw. But, like, what side are you betting on? Are you going to bet that Fromm has an amazing game? Or are you going to bet on that Fromm gets shellacked? On a Tuesday night, I'll bet against Fromm having an amazing game. We'll see how it goes. But even so, I don't think that the Chargers have to throw enough that it'll make Guyton more valuable than KJ Osborne this week.
Just to kind of go off of what you're just saying there, they don't even like from the Giants, supposedly. They're really praying and wishing that Glennon can get back, as they don't want to start Fromm, it seems like. Obviously, he was just signed for them a little bit ago. But another good, I mean, from an Osborne perspective, you got to think about how the Steelers and Minnesota are still in it also from that perspective, where the Chargers, you're right, they're going against a Giants team that's just trying to figure stuff out. So there's more value in Osborne doing well than there is with Guyton having to do well for the Chargers.
Right. Yeah.
Big thumbs up. All right, guys, always answers by guess. You look up this hashtag. We are everywhere. Like us, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and Patreon. Guess. Best of luck there, bud, if you have anybody going on Thursday.
Yeah, best of luck to you, too. And Saturday night?
Yes, Saturday night will work. I have figured out a way to make Saturday night work.
Okay. Well, if it doesn't,
Saturday night will work.
Okay. All right. So we'll see you all Saturday night.
All right.
Have a good one.
Answers by guess. Deuces.